Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Head, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion. Your host, the Hud. Welcome back to the Baseball Head 2, and hopefully you like this video. Hit that subscribe. We're going to talk about something very bizarre to start the season. This is a problem for a family, a baseball family. That is, if you've seen the title, it's Alec Bohm and his parents. They're feuding. And the Phillies won their first game against the Rangers on Thursday, but there's a big problem with the third baseman for the Phillies and his parents. It's from the Daily Mail. I'm going to have a lot of videos from the Daily Mail. So they talk a lot about stuff that is going on. MLB star Alec Bohm sues his own parents for more than $1 million in shocking case. The parents of Philadelphia Phillies third baseman Alec Bohm used limited liability companies to funnel millions of dollars out of his financial accounts for their own use, according to a lawsuit obtained by the Daily Mail. Now, this is the same guy that when he made an error in Philadelphia in a game with the New York Mets a few years ago, he said he hated this effing place, he said, out loud, and everybody saw it. The next day he had to apologize, and he's a terrible defensive third base. He's, an average offensive player. Though Alec's investigation into the status of his assets remains ongoing, and is far from complete, initial investigation leads Alec to believe, and therefore even that, his parents, Daniel and Lisa, misappropriated a very large sum of money from Alec, read the complaint. In total, Alec claims his parents tried to freeze him out of four LLCs as they converted a sizable amount of his earnings into accounts intended for their own use. 29-year-old slugger is seeking at least $1 million as well as interest, penalties, costs, attorney's fees, and anything else the court deems is appropriate. Filed in Pennsylvania and first reported by the Philadelphia Inquirer, the lawsuit claims Daniel and Lisa Bohm set up two LLCs for their baseball star son in 2019 so they can manage his growing assets. Alec and his parents told him they would need to hold a 10% stake in the LLCs in order to administer his funds, but insisted he still owned all the assets, funds, and anything else according to the filing. Daniel and Lisa repeatedly advised Alec that whenever they acted on his behalf, they did so as Alec's parents, whose assistance always came free of charge, the lawsuit continued. Alec's parents also launched a foundation in his name, but according to the lawsuit, both the LLCs and the charity were used by Daniel and Lisa for their own financial purposes. Oh, I know one thing. This is not going to be a great Thanksgiving dinner. That's for sure. Quote, with each transfer, Daniel and Lisa evidently grew bolder, read the complaint. They even launched LLCs to control his personal residence and again took a 10% stake, since it was required for them to manage the property, the lawsuit claims. But in January, when Alec asked his parents for information on the various holdings, Daniel and Lisa allegedly refused. That's not good. Daniel and Lisa, however, refused to provide any of the limited documentation that Alec sought, which included, for example, electronic login information, account statements, tax instruments, and other readily accessible documentation, read the lawsuit. Instead, Daniel and Lisa engaged legal counsel who produced limited information to feign cooperation. The lawsuit continued. That's not good. I mean, if they brought in a legal counsel, that means they're concerned that he's going to sue them, and that's what happened. And soon thereafter, Alec was informed by his parents' attorney they intended to submit invoices for all the money they believed they were owed for managing his money and his assets. In other words, Daniel and Lisa not only deceived Alec through their misrepresentation about the reasons for their interest in the LLCs, but also Daniel and Lisa now claim that they possess equity rights and are due compensation for services they provide in connection with the operations of the LLCs, read the lawsuit. So in other words, they said they didn't need them, they weren't doing it because they were his parents, but now they want to be compensated. Bohm's parents denied wrongdoing in a statement to their attorneys. Quote, Mr. and Mrs. Bohm loved their son very much and have always acted in his best interest, both personally and professionally, and still do so to this day. Robert Eckert, the pair's attorney, told the Inquirer they're deeply saddened by the allegations made against them in this lawsuit and the sensational false narrative painted here, which they believe are entirely without merit. Oh boy. The Daily Mail has also sought comment from Alec's attorney. The third pick of the 2018 MLB draft, Bohm is on a one-year, $10 million deal, but will become an unrestricted free agent after the season when he could be up for a considerable raise. Alec is also reportedly dating ESPN host Erin Dolan. I'll tell you, when you have so much money, you got to make sure that the people that are like taking care of it, you can trust them. And just looking at pictures of these two, boy, oh boy, bizarre looking. But it's a shame. It's a shame this happened to a Philadelphia Philly. Isn't that a great start? I mean, the Phillies didn't do much this offseason. Their fans were very irritated by the lack of sort of urgency by the front office. They're an older team. You know, Bryce Harper's getting up there to where, you know, they're concerned that he might be past his prime. They had to get rid of Nick Castellanos. There was a lot of drama behind that. He was kind of a weird guy. They didn't really care for him in the clubhouse, especially with that goofball kid of his. But they were not happy. And the fans are not happy down there right now. There's a belief that they're probably going to, you know, I don't know. There's just a lot of issues down there that, you know, they're old. Like I said, they're an older team. Zach Wheeler is older. You know, he's 36 years old. Going to be 37 years old. He's getting up there in age. He had an injury this past year, this past offseason. They had to get looked at. They have an old catcher. I mean, they're up there in age as a team. And they may have had their shot to win a World Series a few years ago, and they had their shot in 2023. You know, against the Dodgers. I think it was the Dodgers. Against the Astros on 2022. What the 2022 when they faced the Astros. So they had their shot at the brass ring, and they didn't do it. Especially, you know, their bullpen blew it so many times. You know, that's how it is. If you don't win, everything else sort of falls apart, you know. Especially when you're so close to winning and you don't win it. And Alec Bohm is an average baseball player, but he makes so much money like the average players do. You better make sure that you have very honest people around you. And apparently he's saying his parents aren't. But let me know what you think about this video. And, of course, please subscribe to the Baseball Hut 2, and I'll see you later.